August 25th, 2025 meeting of the Edenton Town Council for a special meeting and committee meetings to order. Our first order of business is the appointment oath for Brian Towers to his appointment to the Edenton Preservation Commission. So, Mr. Towers, if you'll come forward.
Where are you? Here?
That'll be great.
Okay.
Mr. Goode's going to hold the Bible for you. And then
I
repeat
have
after
to.
me.
You
Yeah.
know, the last time I said I do, I ended up with a house and 2 sermons.
I don't think you'll get that out of this. But if you will, repeat after me, and I'll try to keep it into bite-sized little chunks for you. I, Brian Towers,
I, Brian Towers,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States,
that I will support the laws and the Constitution of the United States,
that I will bring faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina,
and bring, say that again?
faithful
Faithful,
and bear true allegiance to the state of North
and bear
Carolina,
true allegiance to the state of North Carolina,
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers,
and authorities which are or may be established
and authorities that are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution
that I will endeavor to support and maintain the Constitution
and the laws of said state,
and the laws of said state,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
not
consistent,
consistent with the laws of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office as Commissioner.
the duties of my office and duty.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
The next agenda item we have is a memorandum of understanding between the Edenton Schools and the Edenton Fire Department. This MOU will allow the town's fire department to work with John A. Holmes High School and their CTE program to help establish a firefighter technical program. Chief Bass is here if anyone has any questions. And Chief, if you can just give us a real quick overview of that,
Sure.
just so we have more information and the public will have it also.
This is not a new program that the state's come up with. It's been around since 1996. It gives high school kids, we got away from computers and all the technology stuff years ago, so this gives them a chance to get into the fire side, the EMS side, the public safety side of the world. Edenton had it started in 2015 with the public safety class. It did not go very well, went one semester. The instructor went back to the sheriff's department. Casey Bass was here then. So they tried to start it back, and Tracy and Miss Ward have worked really hard to get this started back up. So I hope this will get some of the younger kids that are in high school interested in the fire service. Right now we have 4 juniors that are supposed to be signed up to be in this class. So this would help us get these guys certified. They will not get all the firefighter certification, they'll like one class when they finish. And that class is fire control, what they have to do live burn. They cannot do any kind of live burn inside high school while they're students, so it has to be done out once they graduate. It's basically broke down in 3 separate things. We go by firefighter certification, they go by Fire 1, Fire 2, and Fire 3. So they have 3 blocks. So one year will be Fire 1, next year Fire 2, the following year be Fire 3. So that's how they do it. And all we'll be doing is supplying the apparatus and ladders and stuff like that, the equipment that they need to run the class. They will hire the instructor. The instructor will work with the guys at the department on what they need each day for the class. It'll be an hour and a half each day during the week for the whole semester. From my understanding, they're looking at starting it in January.
And Chief, if you have some good students in that class, I could foresee that it could help you with some.
Yep, it will. And like I said, we've got 4 juniors signed in the fire department now, and all 4 of them have signed up to be in it. So, and that's one thing I warn them about is when you get a lot of kids who are not interested in it, it doesn't work very well. The programs that we've got near us are Clemens, Elizabeth City, Camden, and Kirkland. All 4 of those have this firefighter program in their school system. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for us to work with the high school and get some younger kids involved in the fire service, and it'll help us lead into recruitment and retention in our department also.
Can you tell us what it would be involved with as far as our manpower? You know,
Sure, all we'll be doing is during the day is helping the instructor set up the equipment, having it available to them to run the classes. It'll be different topics during the semester. So it'll be ladders, hoses, we'll have hoses out with them, we'll have the engine where they can pump water and flow water, stuff along that line. So it'll be a great opportunity. I think it'll be a good working relationship between the two of us.
So you said 3 semesters?
Yeah, they'll go 3 semesters.
So pretty much gotta be at least a sophomore.
Yep, you gotta be a sophomore, junior, senior, yep. And I think the ones that are in now are juniors, so they're kind of falling behind, a year, but it'll do well for us. I think we'll get some guys that are just about certified. Right now, I've got one guy in the academy, in Beaufort, and he's knocking back a lot of overtime trying to get these classes that we're required to have. So, this will kind of help us on the long run as far as overtime too, is getting guys that are already certified in it. We were lucky last time when we hired one, he was already certified when he came in, so he could ride the truck from day one. But when you don't have the certification, you can't do the light, you can't go inside structure and burn it, so you're just an outside guy for us. We really need guys who can go inside and do the work.
Okay, any other questions? This agenda item appears on our special meeting agenda, so we can take action at a special meeting. If it's a pleasure of the town council, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and second to accept this memorandum of understanding. Anybody have any further comments or questions? There being none, all in favor of entering into this MOU, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Chief Patterson.
Sir.
The next matter is a matter that was tabled from our regular meeting earlier this month. You recall that we have a surplus of the ARP funds, and the recommendation from staff at that time had been that those remaining funds, which are in the neighborhood of $47,000, be applied to our parks. There were some questions from council about that budget amendment, shifting it to the parks. It had originally been slated for housing, and because this represented a shift from where we had originally intended it to go, several council members requested that we table it so that we could get more information from staff. So what I would propose for is you give us more information, and then we'll open it up to council to express any concerns they have, and we'll talk about where to go from there.
Thank you, Mayor. As stated, the remaining funding from the ARP allocation is the $47,531.22. In the budget amendment that you see here, basically there are 2 lines that are being encumbered for that remaining balance if choose. One of which is the Parks and Recreation Accessibility Parks Project, as well as just general recreation, which is how the Parks Project was classified before. If you think about, we have went through over 5 park rehabs, and all in all, we're about $20,000 over budget just on those few from what we originally had slated. You think about the timing and pricing and how things have shifted. And so in this budget amendment, the $47,000 would help absorb that overage for the other 5 parks that we're working on or have done work on, and then the remaining balance of the $27,000, those would be where we would start with the community-supported events, the items that we had from some of the surveys, some of the unique amenities that would be added to each of the parks beyond repairing what
Could
you
you give some
have.
examples on that?
That being like the pickleball nets, the gaga pit, the sand volleyball, etc. There were a long list of items that we had gotten, and the idea here is to really rebalance the overage on all 5 of the parks, that $20,000, which in the grand scheme of what was spent, close to $1 million, is pretty good considering to miss your mark by that. But then it will basically allow us to use our staff to purchase and install some of the remaining items for all 5 of these locations. We've still got a lot of that data on hand and what we've seen in different areas. However, if council decides to not go this route, Virginia and I will have to pull together some type of budget amendment for council to consider for the overage on the park project itself, to square that up. So if you would choose to not move it, just know that there will be something that follows that we will need to do to basically zero out that line.
Is there a plan for, and a budget in place for like the amenities, the added amenities to the park? For the Gaga ball, the pickleball court, is there a budget set for that yet?
We had always, we were hoping that there would be remaining funds, and of the ARPA funds that are there that are remaining, the housing piece is really what's left. And the idea to begin was to try to trim as much off of what we were putting in each of the 5 parks and have leftover funds to purchase additional equipment. But that's just not the case. So at this time, I mean, there's no additional funds that we have budgeted somewhere to do those beyond. We wanted to get the equipment and all the structures and existing equipment up to date before we started adding to each of those locations.
But with this budget, we'd be able to do those things, correct?
Yes.
And then the alternative, you said, is a budget amendment from the fund balance, is that right?
Yeah, just for the overage on the phase 2 of the projects where all 5 of them were, new equipment, new shelters, any of the parking enhancements, any of the basketball court enhancements, any of the things that were done to get them back up to par for what was there. You know, if we choose to do those unique amenities, we would have to look later in the year at a different opportunity, or we could simply shift this remaining balance from the housing. We didn't have as much success with the housing as what we anticipated. If you remember, we partnered with USDA for their renovation program to do a 1-to-1 match. So we went through that program. We had maybe 1-2 candidates at most that seemed to pass the initial vetting with USDA. And there were some additional requirements as far as the legal requirements for us to actually record the grant on the towns. So, the majority of those funds were spent for the Coke Avenue property to try to create that housing space of which we're
Well, I'm glad that we have been able to help at least one person with this project. The housing initiative was twofold. It was to seek land or an opportunity for affordable housing, but then also for home rehabilitation as well. That's the piece that I feel like we lack. And you're right, we haven't had much success from it, but I don't think we as a town done our due diligence by getting the word out to people, letting them know what opportunities are available. I'm not really in favor of the budget amendment. I'm in favor of continuing with the park project. That's something that I've always championed here on council. But I wouldn't mind a budget amendment. Once we have a budget in place to say, hey, look, this is exactly how much we need to finish this project, and then move from there. But I still think that we could have some success from it. I've shared with the group the last meeting we weren't here. I had a citizen reach out to me and ask me about funding opportunities for home improvement and to fix our back windows. And I just told her that the town did have some funds available. But I think if we get the word out, maybe restructure it a little bit better, then we can probably have some success. Now, we can't do this to the tune of $10,000 what we're really committed to. There's only $47,000 left, but there's still an opportunity there to help out some citizens. So I will be comfortable with the budget amendment once we have a budget to how much it's gonna cost.
Mayor, I've been on canvassing the last couple of months, and I've been talking to many people that were very pleased with the renovations that have happened in all 5 parks, and they're very excited about the amenities coming about, and I am all for this amendment.
I would like to see us finish up the ideas that we had with the parks, to be honest with you. I know we got 2 ideas here, but I'm all for the amendment to finish those up. Maybe look down the road at another way to bring those funds for the housing all come together, but I don't wanna stop right now with the ideas that we all have had for the parks either.
I don't think it's a thing of stopping it, like I said, we have an alternative that we can
I
utilize.
didn't, well, I
I
didn't
think
even
we
say
can look
stop.
at it, but I think this amendment needs to go through now.
Councilman Bond?
I've got a couple calls today about this, people saying, and it surprised me, that, they wanted to know that the town still have funds available to help them to renovate their houses, you know, because they said winter time is coming, you know, windows, screens and all this stuff, so parks are good. And we've got them in a position where people can go to them and use them. But I would rather see the money help people who are struggling with their homes, renovate their homes, than to put the money in the park. Wintertime is coming and people are gonna be using heat, and you don't want the heat escaping the houses and stuff like that. So I would say let's go ahead and put this back on the market, and maybe I didn't do the best job that I should have done in telling people about it, but the people that had asked me about those funds, those were the people that I went to and told them that the town had funds.
I've got a couple questions for Corey. How long have these funds been available to the public?
The ARPA funding initially came in either early 2022, if not late 2021.
And how many applicants have we had?
Very few, most of the folks that we've started with, the initial kind of rite of passage to get started was to do the pre-application with USDA to make sure that everything there that they needed, because there was a grant portion of what they offered as well. And so the town's original offer was to match what the USDA amounts was, and basically what this was to do was to help alleviate some of the loan portion if it extended past 10,000. Most of the problems we ran into, even if someone passed the application with USDA on what they needed for the initial draw to start the quotes that were needed for pricing for repairs, is the key to this thing was it still applies to owner-occupied structures. That was a big piece, and clear title. And so some of the applications that we had passed the initial USDA, review, but then when it came to the point of actually being able to provide clear ownership of that, where it wasn't maybe tied with another family member, the person actually lived there, met the income requirements, they resided in that property, and that was the biggest hurdle for USDA. Then when it came to actually being able to provide proof that they were the only owner, that was really kind of a huge gatekeeper
And
for us.
has anything changed with USDA that would make these funds more accessible to our townspeople?
No, and actually during the timing of when receiving this and making the decision to push it forward for housing, we had a time where USDA actually had exhausted any of the funds they had, so they had started to stop offering some of the programs until their budget was brought back up to speed.
Well, we still have an opportunity if they didn't qualify on the USDA side, because I think some of that was a financial piece, whether it was credit or just whatever, or some applicants may not have met it. But on the town side, if we could prove the ownership, then they could still receive whatever allotment from us, whether it was $10,000 or whatever. But again, I think my biggest thing is a lot of people just didn't know, and we did not publicize it at all, that these funds were available. Had we publicized it, they did come in 22, but we didn't appropriate it until 23. It was at our planning session of year 23 in January. So that's really when it went into effect. But again, we didn't put it out there to the public that these funds were available and what the process was like to apply. So that's why I feel like we have dropped the ball as a council and as a town. Now it's our responsibility to say, hey, well, we don't have as much left, we have something in the pot, and go from there. And especially when we have 3 or 4 houses already on the agenda today to vote on. I think the last round of houses, there were 2 or 3 that were owner occupied. And if they're not, if you could be able to provide aid to bring the houses up to code, then I mean, I think that's a great opportunity, a successful work for the town. To say, hey, look, we're able to help these people, you know, be in compliance if we brought up to code, versus the alternative.
Any more comments?
Just to follow up on Councilman Bond's issue with housing, emergency things with housing. Do we have resources out there to help as far as heating and cooling? I know we have DSS, we know we have St. Vincent de Paul. Do we have any other agencies out there that can provide assistance during this time?
And Dwayne's here with us, most of the items, when we look at some of the minimum housing, we have all but exhausted almost every resource that we know within the area. We have a full list of that. The folks who make it to the point of these minimum housing ordinances, we're oftentimes shared that information, try to do outreach, try to partner with them, bring them together. We had turned over every stone to find options for folks, and if folks want to contact us, we were glad to put them in contact from USDA right on down to one of the religious organizations that may do services for free for certain improvements. But yes, sir, we have tried to find every option.
I've got a couple of questions. So the USDA program, as it was, is now closed out? It's not?
No, it's a recurring program. I can't remember if it's 504 or 502 is the option that they provide. It's a renovation option for owner-occupied. At the time, within the 2 years that this was advertised, at one point USDA's funding had stopped for that program. It had been exhausted for the remainder of the year. Now that would basically re-up July 1 of whatever budget cycle they were in, but it's still up to that applicant to reach out and start that conversation with them to see if funds are now available to make those repairs. And USDA partners have been wonderful to work with as far as letting us know they had an applicant, letting us know they had someone who had passed the pre-application review to move forward to the point that they were getting quotes, and to the point of asking us, what type of funding was, remaining from the town.
I know more than several months ago, we had a presentation at the request of this person, and it's with a faith-based group out of Bertie County, I believe, Caring Communities or Carolina Caring Communities or something along those lines. And, I don't know if there's some room to get him back in here or perhaps have a,
Rebuilding.
I can speak on that if it's okay.
good information to have.
So that, with the minimum housing stuff, the list that's been created, there's very few that are owner occupied. Most of them are vacant or properties, foreclosure properties, stuff like that. We try to shy away from minimum housing when it comes to owner occupied homes. Carolina Rebuilding Ministries, we did have them in, so I meet constantly with homeowners that come in. I give them a USDA application. I give them the Carolina Rebuilding Ministries application as well as the EIC application. Problem I'm running into is getting those applications filled out and turned back in. I did sit down with 3 people who I was able to get those applications filled out and actually hand delivered them to Carolina Rebuilding Ministries. A lot of places they're short on funding, so they need donations. That's one of the reasons why I asked the representative of Carolina Rebuilding Ministries to come in. Annie Nalsinger has actually heard her church, United Methodist Church. I've been trying to work with them, and they've gone out on their own and have had Carolina Rebuilding Ministries come into their organization, how they've partnered with them. And so more information for that's coming. But that's kind of where we are now with availability. But if anybody knows of any organizations, I've tried to compile a list.
So we have some applicants right now, but they're seeking funding, and funding is the hindrance right now.
Yeah, well, and they haven't been, to my knowledge, I think I gave 3. One of them, I think, was some issue with the title, so I think there's 2 left. But I don't know how far they are in their vetting process. That's what they handle the vetting. I'm not sure. I just get them in here, see if they can get through the application process.
Is there some room for this group and us and perhaps Annie and the church to get together and have some sort of public meeting to advertise this and come and get information?
This funding, I get the owner occupied, but it sounds like with some of this funding, it has to be 100% owner occupied. I mean, it can't be a piece of property that's been in the family and 35 people. I mean, that seems to be one of the big,
We run it
heirs
at-
property.
with CDBG, and then we turn it in, we have to turn it over to lawyers and charge a fee to run down title searches and stuff like that. So that's why our CDBG project has taken over 4 years now to, get through the process, just because there's so many, you get federal funding and that makes a lot
If
more.
we turn this money over into a pot, would it be easier to do those things with it, or would it still have those requirements?
It would still have those requirements. We actually had one applicant that qualified for the USDA portion of the grant, but didn't qualify for the town piece for the deed of trust also, that it was owned by an individual and their sibling. And so the application was with one live and willing body and a sibling, but would not agree to anything beyond, what USDA was for, so I mean, we couldn't do the match. So clear title, owner occupied, multiple air properties do become problems, and that's one of the struggles we've found.
We've tried to alleviate that, and it was kind of getting off subject a little bit, but we've brought in legal aid. We had them come in twice last year to do free wheels and stuff for people who couldn't afford them. And we'd be happy to have them come back. They have an office, I believe, in a hospital. So, I mean, there's a free service out there to help alleviate some of these issues we're running into. It's just the education piece needs to catch up as well, kind of thing. So that's a separate issue, but kind of tied to the root issue of what we're discussing.
And Councilman Constant, is your proposed alternative one where the $47,000 that's left over would be reserved completely for housing? Is that your proposal?
I would like to see a plan for both sides before we turn over all funds to the park. If we need, I think you said it's $20,000 to finish that off, and I mean that, we can get that from somewhere, even if it's transferable, but I would like to reserve as much as possible in that pot and then seek some alternatives. We don't know what the needs are from applicants or future applicants that may present, so, I don't think it's, looking at a budget amendment, could we vote on that tonight if we were to do it that way? Or would you guys have to draft something?
We would have to come back and draft something, so regardless of the outcome of the transfer of some or none or all of the AEP funding, we will come back with some type of transfer to at least cover the overage from those 5 points.
Could we do it?
Could we not find money later on to work on this housing issue?
I just don't want us to ignore it or not.
I agree, I don't want to ignore it
That's
either,
my biggest thing.
but,
And we've done that before too, sometimes where we forget to come back at hand. I don't
let's
want
not
it to be.
forget.
Yeah,
Let's not
well,
forget.
it's easier said than done.
Can we get those numbers that you
Yeah,
asked
that's what I would
about?
prefer.
I mean, could we table it another time and get those numbers? And therefore, we're not moving it out of one pot just to put other money somewhere else back in that pot.
And yeah, that's my recommendation.
Numbers just simply for
To complete the park project.
purchase of equipment.
And I don't think there's any rush to this. I mean, we don't have to keep on punting it.
Right.
And I'm not a huge fan of tabling, but there seems to be a lot of interest in this, and it might not be a bad idea to do that.
And for my meeting with you as well, whenever you're free, I know you were out for surgery at the time, where we can sit down and voice some options together too.
And keep in mind, it may be a reasonable alternative. We've heard keep or transfer the entire 47,000 parks. We've heard let's keep 47 to housing. It could be a reasonable alternative to
Compromise.
sprinkle some
Yeah.
to
I'll
both.
go for
But
compromise.
I think people would, what I'm hearing would be, feel more comfortable with hey, what are these additional things that these parks gonna cost us? And that might give us an idea how we can juggle it. And at the same time, maybe Annie, Dwayne and I, Aaron, and some others can maybe work on some type of public seminar, for lack of a better word.
So what you're saying, you best maybe table this right now?
Yeah, and let Corey work on some numbers for us, and so we're not, voting in the abstract, we're voting on some specifics.
So I'll make that motion that we table it.
I'll second
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Okay, I'll go with
All in favor of tabling?
it. Table, aye.
I think Councilman Sellers was out, but even with that, we've got a quorum. So, motion to table that is passed, and I appreciate council's interest in that, and also discussion, deliberation.
So town manager, follow up on this, town manager's gonna let us know how much more money we need to complete.
And also the specific ideas and which part they might be attached to.
Okay.
Councilman Sellers, we voted to table this, are you in favor of that? We had a quorum
Yes.
without you, so we didn't hold up the meeting. The next three items, D, E, and F, under our special meeting are all tied to our minimum housing ordinance. You recall, 8 or 9 months ago, the council let Dwayne Wilson, our assistant town manager, know that if at all possible, we would like to avoid demolition and destroying houses. And a lot of the minimum housing ordinances that we were seeing at the time was giving homeowners 30 days to take action. And we asked that those ordinances be set so that the homeowners had 90 days to take action. The three things that are before us today have all been long past the 90-day time period. The very first one involves 124 East Carteret Street, and there have been some unique circumstances on this one where Dwayne feels like it would be advisable, reasonable, and fair for us to extend that another 30 days. Is that correct, Dwayne, on that one?
Yes, sir. At approximately 3 o'clock this afternoon, I got a call from the homeowner, and we're exploring options now. The home is not lived in. It is pre-tax foreclosure. I think it's 3 years past due. And it is for sale. However, you know, they've had plenty of people look at it, but it's pretty uninhabitable if you look at pictures from the inside. So it's a lot of work's gonna have to be done. So I'm working with them to either, you know, they've mentioned demolishing on their own or doing something maybe with the price or whatever. But I did tell them that I could give them up to 30 days to be able to make a decision if council would be okay with it.
Could be somebody obviously started working there, I mean, that's what happened. I mean, it's the third cheapest house in Eden, if you look on Realtor.com, and I mean, they got it on the market. I mean, I think that we can, I mean, they're trying to do something with it. It's not like it's.
It's been like that now for, I don't know timeframes, well over a year. The windows have been open for about.
I mean, couldn't they just board it and, I mean, we'll never get another, I mean, you'll never get a house
That cheap.
that cheap, and, you know, I mean, talking about effect on the environment, to tear down a house and rebuild a house, it doesn't matter if you're carbon neutral for the rest of your life, you never catch up. You know, it's one of those things that this, you know, landfill, all that stuff, and I think this house looks like a lot that Dawson has done around. It looks like it's ready, you know, ready for somebody to do. It's just the price has gotten so low. I mean, I think they need to board it up and take care of it, but I think that if, you know, that we ought to maybe, you know, it's what's going on all around. I don't think, see, this one is one we need to,
And
Dwayne, maybe they'll give it to us.
This was a situation where one owner was getting all the correspondence and didn't necessarily fill in the other owner on everything that was going on. And the communication that you got this afternoon was from the other owner who now is up to speed on what's going on and would like the opportunity to try to do some things. When you said it's been like this for a year, did you mean it's been on the market for a year, or it's been in this condition and neglected for a year?
It's at least been owned by the current owners for at least 3 years. I think in the beginning, they started work and just stopped. So I feel comfortable saying that somewhere around 2 years it's been like this. And it's been on and off the market several times.
Is it with a realtor or is it for sale by owner?
Yeah, I just looked it up, Amber's got it.
Yeah, signs right in front of the
And
house.
it's, 55,000, I mean, you know.
So I have a question, when we go through this process, like, do we speak with developers at all to say, look, is there any interest in, you know, I guess brokering that relationship between the owners and the developer?
With this, I absolutely do. With this particular one, because it's been on the market for 2 years, it's really, you know, I tell people, I send lists to developers, hey, check on these houses kind of thing, but, the feedback I'm getting, is that this is unreasonably high for the amount of work that needs to be done. And that's,
So it's not negotiable?
that's the issue we're running into, or the private market is running into, is what I'm understanding.
Did the newly advised owner indicate any plans that, for what, the next 30 days or?
Not any hard plans, kind of gave them what the town needed to see, to make it, the biggest thing is public safety. You know, the high school being a block away, you know, squatters, just anybody that can get in there and get hurt, because it doesn't have a floor in it. It's basically just a shell of a house. So the biggest thing is, and we all know that we board up the windows and it becomes unsightly, kind of thing to the neighbors, and then they complain. Technically, houses are supposed to be ventilated, so, that runs into contradiction with part of the ordinance, so,
Do you think we should give them the 30 days?
What's your
I think
recommendation?
so, with renewed contact, I think 30 days, tabling it for 30 days would give me an opportunity to work with them and figure something out.
Do you feel they'll get something going within that 30 days?
If they're willing to be reasonable, I think so.
Are these out-of-town people or in town?
Out of town.
I make a motion to give 30 days.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to give, this particular homeowner or homeowners at 124 East Carteret a 30-day extension, and we will table it, at our, next committee meeting in September.
What are we saying with the other ones, the ones that we've already gone through? We have, what, 45 or 90 days on them?
Yeah, so, I'm working on making our minimum housing ordinance more efficient and, have more teeth to it. So I'm working with like other communities to figure out how they're doing it. Basically nothing at this point.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to table this for 30 days. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll table that one. Next, we move to 148 Paxton Lane, and Dwayne, you have given these homeowners 90 days and then some, and we've not gotten any action from them. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. This is another, I guess it's technically an air property. I think Mr. Bond may know the situation a little bit. So this home is boarded up. The reason why I didn't get a fresh picture is because you really can't see it with all the vegetation that's in front of it now. Neighbors have complained. I've spoken to the homeowner, and he basically has told me anything the town wants to do, they can do, kind of thing. But I've tried to get him to sell the property. What people don't understand is the town can pay for it to be demolished, but it will be a lien on the property, and it has to be paid back according to the tax department within, I think it's 2 years, or it goes into foreclosure, which his home has been in foreclosure for 5 years, so it is in foreclosure as well.
Is it tied up because it's an air property situation?
I
Why does
don't-
it take it so long to?
I haven't seen the title search or anything on it, I'm not sure. The person I'm dealing with is who's labeled on the tax record, so I'm not sure if there's any other siblings tied to it or not.
A tax when you clear it off, and, maybe most, we're gonna get our money back, you know.
So I think we said on some of these 90 days, we had to see something being done.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be doing this
Yeah, I
9 years
agree.
from now.
What's your recommendation
I mean-
for this one? I mean, so this one is, you can't fix that.
Based on conversations I've had, and the interest of the public would be demolition.
Yeah.
So
And the owner's saying he doesn't even object to that. It seems like this is an easy
And I
approach.
spoke to him in several months, maybe even a year. He was supposed to meet with me, and I guess he was supposed to come to a high school reunion or something, or a class reunion, and never heard from him. So it's kind of, there's been like just one communication.
But they're okay with it,
He was here 2 weeks ago. family reunion.
So I still haven't heard anything.
Is there no way to speed the tax? I'm not saying for this, but just, I mean, it seems like you have a remedy that actually clears the title of these things, and we're not using it somehow. I mean, that seems to be a little bit of the frustration. I mean, I don't know anything about the condition, it's probably falling apart. I'm not saying we need to on this one, but on a lot of these things that are in tax foreclosures, that's the only way you get a clean title on it, that one.
I
And so
think,
we're gonna go spend, $25,000 or $50,000 tearing it down, we'll never get any of our money back, whatever that number is.
that's the hard part about it, is trying to
But
figure it out.
with the tax foreclosure, you actually get something you can sell.
Yeah, you get a clear title.
You get a
if
clear
you go
title, and I
through
mean,
the
it just seems to me the wrong way, if we're conserving the people's money, it seems to be the wrong way to go about it, because we've got a tax foreclosure, in place that would give us clear title, and you could sell the land and all that. I mean, we're gonna go in the hole and not get anything out of it
That's
this way. I mean, I just think it doesn't seem to be a good way to proceed when you have another avenue.
I've been seeing the longer a home is in foreclosure, the longer it takes to get out. Like the one on Carteret Street, it's been like that since
Yeah.
2008.
I mean, can't we push the tax foreclosure people to do their jobs? 'Cause I mean, it seems like that's sort of what's happening. You advertise this thing, and something becomes, somebody will buy it, and, we don't put whatever it costs to do it. It just seems like they aren't, who does it for us now?
It's the county.
I know that, but who
Oh,
does it?
Zacchaeus is who the attorneys they use.
It just sounds like if it's 5 years, whoever the county's using isn't doing a very good job. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it sounds pathetic, if you don't know the truth.
My impression is that they choose the low-hanging fruit. And if it's an easy foreclosure, it gets done. If it's a difficult foreclosure, that's my impression.
Well, maybe we need a new, I mean, I don't know, maybe we need a new person doing that, that'll actually let them do it.
If I'm not mistaken, if you can't find the heirs, that's remedied by notice of publication in the Chowan Herald. So I'm not sure why, some are much more difficult than others. I
What do you
get
think
that.
this will cost to tear this thing down?
From what I would say 10 to 15, and that's not counting any asbestos testing or lead-based testing. I think that runs you about 3,500.
But if it was put up on the board and sold, then it'd be, somebody would, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, 148 Paxton Lane. But we got this one before us.
I mean, people buy stuff in tax foreclosures. I'm not saying this one particularly, but I mean, just in general.
Yeah, but you got trees growing up there.
What's your recommendation?
Demolition.
I do, but I'm also skeptical about the same issues that Councilman Dixon's bringing up, is I don't want, last thing I want, that's why I haven't done a lot of chunks of this, because I have several ready to go. And the issues I'm running into is foreclosures and heirs. And I think that's probably state and nationwide. I don't,
What would you like for us to do
I think the only thing to do at this point
for
would be
this one?
demolition.
I make a motion that we proceed with demolition.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay, we've got an ordinance that's going to be passed that orders the demolition of 148 Paxton Lane.
I hate to see houses disappear.
Well, we're also spending, $20,000.
Yeah.
So.
And can we absorb some of that cost by doing it in-house for it? No?
We're gonna start with the tax office first, before we write that check.
Yeah, we have entered the ordinance requiring demolition, but I think it's going to take a little more due diligence before we actually demolish it and get on the hook for that expense.
Because it will be a big, yes, we could, but I mean, we're still talking $200 a ton landfill costs to haul this thing off. And it doesn't take very much just for us to use our trucks, use our equipment, then get over there and have a huge landfill bill because it's construction, and like residential trash. It's handled differently, it's processed differently, it's a higher cost. I mean, it's probably just about a wash, you save it on tearing it down yourself, but then you're gonna have some additional demo. We will look at that. To note, all three of these that are here, and Dwayne and I had this conversation before, but there are actually 5. These 3 are, within some type of tax foreclosure. And, I do think we've got to be more aggressive than that. Sellable, titleable property. I agree on that.
Hasn't that happened? I know on this next one that we're about to vote on, that's happened a couple of times. We've been sold at a tax foreclosure, but it's brought back up to us today. So it's like, I don't want to be put back in the endless cycle where it does that too. So sometimes the land can be more valuable than the structure.
Well, and things are a lot more valuable than they were 3 years ago. I mean, you look at what things are selling for, they're just more valuable.
You do have a motion to second for demolition as the language that passed. So we can move to the other ones, but we will make sure to fully do our due diligence around the tax. And if there's a change or an update or a way to expedite what we've seen with the Zacchaeus Brew.
Yeah, they're right on the verge of taking the next step, then,
That's why I tear it down. I have a $20,000 bill levied as a lien in addition to a tax.
Okay, the next one's 700, Dr. MLK. Dwayne, your recommendation on this is the same as the other 2, or the same as 148 Paxton Lane, is that correct?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
This home is pre-foreclosure, past due 2 years. The issue with this property, like you said, this was bought at a tax foreclosure sale. And we have had 0 luck with any renovations or anything like that.
With the new owner who bought it at the tax foreclosure.
What's your
And
recommendation?
Dwayne, when we went through this the first time, there were housing, there was a garage or a separate unit
Yeah, it's
that was demolished. Didn't we tear down a garage on this property?
It's not owned by Commissioner Lawrence? That behind, not the house, but right behind it, that
I'll
garage.
have to look on gas, I'm not sure.
But I do remember it getting to that point once before, and I feel like there was a garage that was torn down separate from the shed.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I was involved in that one.
Yeah.
What's your recommendation?
This house is savable.
Yeah, this is one I.
Yeah, I would want to see this
It looks
one.
like it is.
Like I said before, my worst fear is that it slip into tax foreclosure again. We go through this process and it's still sitting this way in 3 years. But maybe up to council, we go with the 90 days to make remedies to the property to bring it up to minimum housing. I think that would probably be the best route to go for this particular house.
But if we go ahead and we can take it and then, can't we sell it ourselves?
What we can do is get to the point of some type of daily finding. Now, one like this, where it's been through the tax cycle before, and it is worth saving, it will be worth 90 days on the minimum housing to make corrections, remove the demolition piece, and actually start suspending money if we cannot get them to do it to get to the point of the nuisance lien on our side for actually correcting the items, which once we get to day 91, that's the next.
Then we can take it and
And
solve the
start.
title problem. It looks like that'd be a good one for Colorado too. I mean,
Oh, that'll be my motion, is that we go ahead and put it on the 90 days and
I second that, Mayor.
go from there.
9 days.
Is that what you're looking for? Is that good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We got a motion and second to give this house and property owners 90 additional days. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank
Have
you.
you had any communication with the owner at all today? Communicated?
The code enforcement officer has, I have no luck being able to communicate, and I think it's been very limited communication.
Okay. carries.
That concludes our special meeting, and we now move to our committee meetings. The first committee meeting is the Administrative Committee chaired by Councilman Miller. Greg?
Thank you, Mayor. We have two items of business. The first being the police department reorganization. We have a reorganization request from Chief LaFawn to replace the current police captain and detective sergeant positions with two police lieutenant positions. One of the lieutenant positions would be more operational and the other would be administrative. Chief LaFawn is here tonight to give us more justification of the reorganization.
Good evening, thank you guys. Kind of, everybody knows things are changing. Everything's getting more computer oriented, more modern, more technical. We're gonna try to take these two positions, and one's gonna be pretty much admin, taking care of evidence. We've done away with the evidence tech to try to save some money and put that position back out on the street hopefully here in just a few months. And that position will be doing all the evidence, all the computer stuff, all the database stuff, all the sexual assaults, rapes, any of those kind of things, anything that goes to Raleigh, any admin stuff that is tied to an investigation. And then the other side would be pretty much patrol, which is, you see the guys riding around the street, and investigations. And one of the things I was trying to make sure that we done with this is it wouldn't cost us any more money. Actually, we're probably gonna save a little bit because the captain paid a little more and the sergeant paid a little less. So hopefully we can save, you know, maybe $1,000 a month or so on salaries and still hopefully get more bang for our buck with the reorganization.
Who'll be in charge? If you're not here, which lieutenant?
It would be, day to day, if it would be something patrol or investigations, it would be the, patrol lieutenant.
Gotcha.
And you already have, if we approve this, you already have these positions filled within
Yes, sir.
within
Yes, sir.
house.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And I think Manager Gooden put that in y'all's packet, the proposed org chart, if you guys approve of it.
And Chief, got full confidence that if this passes, it'll work, but if it doesn't work, you come before us with this request for a change, I would assume that if things just weren't working, you would look for other ways to make additional changes and come
Yes,
back
sir.
to us. with-
Yeah, hopefully this will work. I think it will. You know, I hate that everything is getting more computer-based, but if you don't stay up on your computer stuff and all your cyber stuff, it kind of gets you behind nowadays, given the way society's changing. So that's why I think, and talking with Manager Gooden, we feel like this will be kind of the way to go. There's some other departments about our size that kind of split it up like that a little bit. And these guys will still do the same things that they've always done, just like I do. Cover patrol, do investigations, you know, get cats out of trees and cheat bags. You know, anything like that that we have to do, because I made it real clear to all of them that your title is not important. It's what we do to help the community as a whole.
Mayor, the administrative committee recommends for the chief's request to the full council.
And Chief, we'll put this on as an action item at our
Yes, sir.
next meeting.
Yes, sir.
And if you want to stay right there.
Sure.
One thing to note is, Chief Lieutenant and I will get together and we will try to figure out how this all incorporates. We will try to get a better understanding of cost if they're actually savings. We'll try to get a good handle on that. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks, when we come back for final approval, the three of us will have a chance to really do our due diligence on what this does for us as we are now. I do know that this would take you back to a one investigations unit by not having the detective sergeant and detective corporal, right?
We'll still have that, another investigative position that we can move someone in. It won't be a sergeant, it'll probably just be an investigator. And it'll be supervised by the investigative corporal.
And this gives you a little more clear latitude, doesn't it?
Yes, sir, hopefully so. And that was one of the things, I didn't want to bore you guys, but to get the guys, because I hear all the time, we're a small department, just know where to go.
Yeah.
You know, and my thing is, you're interviewing for your next job every day, you know, no matter how you do and how you treat folks.
That does help with retention.
Yes, sir, give them something to reach for, hopefully.
And I think with us, some of the things that we'll be able to get an idea around the cost, I think it gives us a chance to work with the folks from the maps group to find some really good examples of places that this is really taken off and how it kind of mirrors our population. So we got a little bit of homework to kind of tweak it, but we wanted to at least see if it was a hard stop, no, move on, or just something we can start working on to really kind of get it all out there and done.
The next agenda item under the administrative committee is the police department part-time officer pay. Councilman Miller?
Mayor, in an effort to remain competitive with other town departments and to reduce current overtime pay, Chief LaFawn has requested that we consider increasing the hourly pay of auxiliary police and the hourly pay rate of our full-time officers, and I believe that's at $26.44 an hour.
Yes, sir.
As you know, auxiliary police provides security assistance to special events and emergency situations. Currently, the chief has had a tough time with auxiliary police recruitment and retention due to the non-competitive pay.
Yes, sir.
Chief, you want to elaborate a little more on that?
Sure. It's kind of like a norm around here. Everybody's auxiliary pay is whatever the base pay is for a starting officer. So we've kind of got behind that a bunch compared to everybody else. So
We're at 15, aren't we?
yes, sir. Yeah, and everybody else is, mid-20s. And what they're doing, they're taking their starting salary, and dividing that by 2080. And with us, that gives us 2644. And hopefully, you guys know we've talked about this before with all the festivals and events. If I can let 2 full-time guys stay home and I work 1 or 2 part-time guys, that would keep us from having to pay the overtime. And, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there is a lot when you spread it out over the year.
So you feel you have within your line item salary and wages enough money to cover this?
Yes, sir, because we haven't been using much out of the auxiliary pay because we've only got one person really that works, and that's Mr. DeStefano. I'm sure some of you guys have met him before. And hopefully with this, I've had some applications. We've got 2 right now, but, they don't want to work for $15 an hour. They can go somewhere else and make $10 more an hour or $11 more an hour. So I think it's just keeping us competitive. It's not really us trying to do anything that anybody else isn't doing.
There's also some room for our regular officers not to be overworked.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
Mayor, the committee recommends for this full council.
Just like your previous request, we'll put that as an action item on our next agenda. Appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
That concludes the administrative committee report, and now we move to the public works committee chaired by Councilman Costa.
Hey, Mayor, there's one agenda item for a speed limit change. The town manager and DOT have met recently in preparation for the bridge project, and as Public Works Department is requesting a speed limit change for the existing 45 from the intersection of Queen and Albania to be extended past that point. There are 2 recommendations here. So the Public Works Department will move this to full council for consideration.
Okay, and see what your constituents think about that. I've already had some people contact me about it. I heard some comments. So see what they say about it, and we'll have a full discussion and probably a vote on it at the next regular meeting.
Of course, quick question though. Well, I guess you will decide that at the next meeting. I'll get with you already.
Okay, that concludes our open session tonight. We do need to go into closed session to discuss a personnel matter, and I would accept a motion in a second for us to go into closed session. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, we will now move into closed session, and thank you, all of our citizens for being here. We appreciate you.
What is that name?